Welcome to Annie's English Studio, where every conversation opens a new door. I'm Annie. Let's get started. Ben, are you still reading that mystery novel you told me about last week?
To be fair, I have not touched it in 3 days.
3 days? You could not put it down on Tuesday. You told me you stayed up past midnight for it. So, how does it end? Did the neighbor actually do it?
No idea.
How do you not know? You were 50 pages from the end.
I genuinely could not tell you where I even left off at this point. I opened it last night and just stared at the same page for 10 minutes.
That is very unlike you. Usually, I cannot get you to talk about anything else once you start a mystery.
I know. It is strange. My brain has just been somewhere else lately.
Somewhere else, like distracted, or somewhere else, like something is actually wrong.
I meant to finish the chapter last night, but my brain would not cooperate either way.
That does not sound like you at all. Is everything okay?
It is fine. Just a lot on my mind this week.
A lot on your mind sounds like more than fine.
Okay, fine. I have an interview tomorrow.
Ben, why did you not tell me sooner?
Because it is not a big deal. It is just a conversation with two people I have never met about whether they should let me change my entire career.
So, a small casual conversation.
Extremely casual. I have barely thought about it at all.
Then why does it sound like you have been avoiding your favorite book because of it?
Maybe it is a slightly bigger deal than I am admitting.
That is a truer answer already. I appreciate you not making me guess for another 20 minutes.
I was building up to it slowly.
Slowly is one word for it. What is the role exactly?
Project coordinator for a team that builds community programs. It is the kind of job I have wanted for a while, which somehow makes it worse.
Why would wanting it make it worse?
Because if I do not get it, it is not just a missed interview. It feels like a missed chance at the actual thing I wanted.
That is a lot to carry into one Tuesday afternoon.
Tell me about it. I have been carrying it since the email arrived.
How long have you actually wanted this kind of work?
Longer than I have admitted out loud. I kept telling myself I was happy where I was, and mostly I believed it until this posting showed up.
And now?
Now I keep imagining two versions of tomorrow. One where I walk out of that room and finally feel like I am doing the right thing, and one where I walk out and I have to go back to pretending I was happy where I was.
That is a lot of weight for one conversation to hold.
I know it probably sounds dramatic.
It does not sound dramatic. It sounds like something that actually matters to you, which explains exactly why your brain has been misbehaving all week. Talk to me. What is actually going on?
I do not know how to explain it. Every time I picture myself sitting in that room, my mind goes completely blank.
Blank how?
Like someone asked me a simple question, and instead of answering, I just freeze. I forget my own job history. I practically forget my own name.
I do not think you would forget your own name.
You have not seen me under pressure.
Fair point. What kind of questions are you worried about?
All of them, really. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this role? What is your biggest weakness? I have answered these in my head 100 times, and every version sounds worse than the one before it.
It sounds like you have been overthinking this for days.
Overthinking is a generous word for it. I would call it a full-time occupation at this point. I think about it in the shower. I think about it while I'm making dinner. I nearly answered an interview question out loud to my cat this morning.
What did the cat think?
Unimpressed, which frankly tracks with how I feel about my own answers.
Duly noted. I would still like to hear more about this cat of yours someday, under less stressful circumstances. Can I ask you something? What exactly are you afraid will happen?
That I will open my mouth, and instead of the version of me that actually does this job well, they will meet the version of me that panics and says something strange.
Has that version of you ever actually shown up before, in real life?
Once, at a wedding. It involved a microphone, a toast, and a sentence that made absolutely no sense halfway through. I will not go into further detail.
Now I really need the detail.
Another time, Annie.
Fine, but for the record, one wedding incident does not decide tomorrow.
It feels like it might.
Can I say something direct?
Please.
I think you have put your guard up so high this week that you have not given yourself a single chance to just try and fail a little somewhere safe. You have only imagined the version where it goes wrong in front of strangers.
That is uncomfortably accurate.
So let us lower the guard, just for tonight, in a room where nothing is actually being decided.
That does sound safer than tomorrow.
Significantly safer. Nobody here is deciding your career. I am just your friend asking you questions.
A friend who apparently studied interview coaching in her spare time.
A friend who is genuinely curious how you would answer these. That is different from coaching.
Fine, I will lower the guard. Slightly.
Slightly is a start. What is the worst thing that could actually happen tonight in this room with just the two of us?
I say something ridiculous and you remember it forever.
That is already happening regardless, so we might as well get it out of the way tonight instead of tomorrow.
That is oddly comforting logic.
I have my moments, and for what it is worth, I have watched you handle far harder rooms than this one. You just usually do not notice yourself doing it.
That is a strange thing to hear about yourself.
Most true things are. Okay, so let us stop thinking about it and start doing it.
Doing what exactly?
Practicing. Out loud, with an actual person, instead of the version of me that apparently lives in your head and gives worse advice than I do.
That version of you is very critical.
That version of you is putting words in my mouth. Sit down. Let us try this for real.
Fine, ask me something.
Tell me about yourself.
I am Ben. I am hardworking, I am a team player, I thrive under pressure, and I bring a results-driven mindset to every...
Ben, you sound like a brochure.
I am aware. That is exactly the problem.
Try it again. This time, tell me something true instead of something impressive.
Something true is that I once organized an entire company event in 2 days because the original planner got food poisoning the morning before, and somehow nobody found out until the whole thing was already over.
See? That is a real answer. I actually want to know what happened next.
What happened next is that I have not eaten shellfish at a work event since, purely out of respect for the situation.
That is exactly the kind of detail that makes a person memorable.
Great, so my entire strategy tomorrow is food poisoning stories.
Your strategy is being an actual person instead of a brochure. Ask me the next question.
What is your biggest weakness?
Go.
My biggest weakness is that I care too much about the quality of my...
Stop right there. Nobody has ever believed that rehearsed answer, including the people who say it.
I panicked. That is the textbook answer.
The rehearsed answer is the problem. What is an actual weakness of yours?
Truthfully, I say yes to things before I think them through. I said yes to 3 separate deadlines last month, and all 3 landed in the same week.
There it is. That is believable, and it even makes you sound self aware instead of perfect.
Self-aware is generous. I would call it barely surviving the month of April.
Either way, that answer told me something. The brochure version told me nothing at all. One more. Why should they choose you over anyone else?
Because hold on, give me a second. That one throws me off completely.
Take your second.
Because most people want to fix the plan when something goes wrong. I want to fix the actual problem, even if that means throwing the plan out entirely. The shellfish incident again, essentially.
We are never letting go of the shellfish incident.
I'm starting to understand that.
And that is exactly the point. Nobody remembers the brochure, everybody remembers the shellfish.
This is either the most helpful thing anyone has done for me this week, or you have just become extremely good at making nonsense sound thoughtful.
Why not both?
Fair enough.
Can I tell you what I noticed?
Please.
The moment you stopped trying to sound impressive, I actually felt like I understood who you were.
Really?
Really. The brochure version came across as someone reading a list of qualities off a page. The shellfish story came across as someone who takes responsibility, keeps his sense of humor under pressure, and does not take himself too seriously. That told me more about you in 10 seconds than the first answer told me in a full minute.
I was not even trying to make a point with that story. It just happened.
That is exactly why it worked. You were not performing an answer. You were remembering something real, and it came across naturally without you forcing it.
So the goal is not to sound prepared.
The goal is to sound like yourself. Being prepared just means you are not afraid to let that happen in the room, in front of 2 strangers who are deciding something important about your week.
I never thought about interviews that way.
I do not know if most people do. I just know it happened tonight with you.
Is that what you are doing right now? Pointing it out?
I suppose it is. I am simply telling you what I saw, sitting across from you tonight.
Nobody has ever told me that before. Usually people just tell me to relax or to breathe, which never actually helps. And if anything makes me more aware of my own breathing, which somehow makes everything worse.
I promise I will never tell you to breathe. It is genuinely useless advice. I am not telling you to relax. I am telling you that the real version of you already sounded ready. You just had not noticed it yet.
Why did you notice it and I did not?
Probably because it is easier to see someone clearly from the outside. You are too busy worrying about how you sound. I just get to sit here and listen.
That seems like an unfair advantage.
Maybe, but it means I can tell you something you cannot easily tell yourself right now. You already have the thing they are looking for. You just keep covering it up with a brochure.
I am going to be thinking about that brochure line for a long time.
Good. Let it bother you a little. It might be exactly what tomorrow needs.
I genuinely did not realize I was doing the brochure thing. I thought I sounded prepared.
I do not think you were aware of it at all.
Then why did the second answer feel so different while I was saying it?
Because you stopped answering the question and you started telling me something true.
Huh.
What?
Nothing. I'm just sitting with that for a second.
Take your time.
It is strange. I came in here tonight expecting you to correct my grammar or give me better vocabulary for tomorrow, and instead you just noticed something about me that I had not noticed myself.
Sometimes that matters more than the grammar.
Okay, ask me again.
Why do you want this role?
In truth, because the last project I worked on made me realize I actually like solving problems nobody planned for in advance. This role sounds like it is full of exactly that.
That answer came out fast.
It did not feel like performing this time. It felt like I was just answering.
That is the difference. Ask me one more and see how it feels.
What is your biggest weakness? Genuinely, I get so focused on getting one thing right that I sometimes lose track of the bigger picture around it. It happened during the event with the food poisoning, actually. I fixed the food and completely forgot to confirm the parking situation.
That is specific. That is human. That is someone I would want on my team.
I think I'm actually ready to stop practicing.
That might be the most confident thing you have said all night.
It might be the most confident thing I have said all month.
I will take it. How does your chest feel compared to an hour ago?
Lighter, actually. I did not expect that.
That is usually what happens once you stop performing and start just talking.
I am going to remember that sentence tomorrow morning, probably right before I walk in.
Good. Let it walk in with you.
I think I spent so much time trying to find the perfect answer that I forgot an interview is just a conversation. I never realized that until tonight.
Exactly. The people in that room are not only listening to your English, they are getting to know you.
That is a strange amount of pressure to put on a Tuesday afternoon meeting.
Maybe, but you already showed me tonight that you know how to do this. You just needed someone to notice it first.
Thank you for asking me those questions tonight, and for not letting me hide behind the brochure version of myself.
That version was never going to get the job anyway. This one might.
No pressure.
Some pressure, but the good kind.
I think I can live with the good kind.
What are you going to do differently tomorrow, now that we have talked all this through?
I think I am just going to try to answer the questions instead of performing them. Same way I did with you tonight.
That is a good plan, possibly the best one you have had all week.
Low bar, but I will take the compliment.
Go finish your mystery novel tonight. Let your brain rest before tomorrow.
Now that I can actually do.
And Ben, whatever happens in that room, you already showed up as yourself tonight. That matters regardless of what they decide.
I am going to hold on to that, especially around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning when the nerves inevitably come back.
Let them come back. Just do not let them do the talking for you.
Thank you for noticing before I could.
That is what friends are for. Interviews apparently included.
I will text you after, however it goes.
You had better. And Ben, whichever way it goes, we are still finishing that book discussion.
Deal.
Before we go, let us recognize a few words from tonight, since we already lived through every one of them. Blank as in my mind went blank. To suddenly forget everything you meant to say, usually at the worst possible moment.
That one felt very personal, about 10 minutes into tonight.
Overthinking. Thinking about something so much that it stops being helpful and starts being exhausting. You mentioned answering questions out loud to your cat.
I stand by that decision, but yes, also personal.
Put your guard up. Protecting yourself from being seen clearly, usually because you are worried about what someone might notice.
Guilty for most of tonight until you talked me out of it.
Rehearsed. Practiced so many times that it no longer sounds natural when you say it out loud, like a certain answer about caring too much.
We do not need to revisit that one.
Come across as the impression you give somebody, whether or not you meant to give it. The brochure version came across one way. The shellfish story came across a completely different way. Self-aware. Understanding your own patterns, including the ones you do not love admitting to. And memorable. The kind of detail that stays with someone long after the conversation ends. I suspect a certain shellfish story will stay with me for a while.
I regret nothing. I think I am going to remember all of those tomorrow, actually.
Good. Let them help you. If tonight felt familiar, leave a comment and tell us, what is one thing you wish someone had noticed about you before you believed it yourself? This is Annie, reminding you that English is not just a language, it is a door. And every episode you open it a little wider. Until next time, keep opening doors.